Hello and welcome. This is Zorin OS 18 core, and before I even go ahead and start diving in, one of the first things I want to show you how to do is perform system updates. So we're going to come down here to the app menu, select settings, and then we'll go ahead and scroll through the pane over here, select the system tab, and then select software updates. This will kick off the software updater tool. We see there it says checking for updates. I shouldn't have any, but at the very least, once you do an installation, you absolutely should do system updates. This will also check for application updates, and it will run the gamut for system packages and flat packages alike. So the software on this computer is up to date. We'll go ahead and hit OK. And since we're in the settings menu, I'm going to go ahead and go back to the top, and we'll just quickly run through these. This first item here is Wi-Fi, so of course we can connect our network. Then we have network, which is for network configuration settings. Bluetooth settings, so we can connect and pair devices. Display, this is where we can resize our resolution and even change our refresh rate. For sound, we have our output settings and input settings. Power, we have the battery state of charge, power mode options, and power saving options. Under multitasking, we have two features here. First one is hot corner, second one is active screen edges. Now for hot corner, if we enable this, which I'm not going to, we can come up to the left-hand corner here and it will open the activities overview, or your workspaces if you will. And you can pan through those workspaces, view the open applications. And then for active screen edges, let me show you. So if we actually take our window here, drag to the left, drag to the right, we have the automatic tiling feature. And if we also go up, we have a menu here of different layouts, and we can just drop right into one of these tile windows and boom. Now if we want to disable, we actually have to do that from here and come into appearance, go to Zorin appearance, select Windows, and disable here. Let's try that one more time. I'm going to go ahead and minimize and just show you now. Oh, so that means this didn't stick. Perfect. Now, there we go. So of course it's got to be turned off on both for that to work. Obviously, as we just saw, if it's enabled here but disabled there, it still works, and vice versa. We can come back here, flip this back on. I'm gonna close this now, go back to multitasking, and we'll see it's disabled here, but the auto feature under Zorin appearance is still enabled. So like I said, you have to have it off on both. All right, so the next one is appearance, and we have Zorin appearance, which is like our customization area, if you will, and background. So we can select any of these default backgrounds. We have apps, which will show the list of installed applications here, and access to our default apps for web, mail, calendar, music, videos, photos. For notifications, we can configure our app notifications, shown here. Under search, we can either enable or disable for our search results, so we can see the list here of what's enabled and disabled. Under online accounts, we have the ability to connect our accounts shown in this list here. Under sharing, we have the ability to enable or disable media sharing for this device. Then we have our mouse and touchpad settings, keyboard settings, color profiles, and if we want to add new, we select here, add profile. Printers, this is where we would either select or connect printers to our device. Tablet settings, I do have mine enabled, but that's because I'm using a 2-in-1, so I do have a touchscreen plus keyboard plus stylus. And I will say they work very fluidly with the Zorin OS 18 core. Accessibility settings, privacy and security settings, and last but not least, our system settings shown here. And I'm going to go ahead and close out. That's going to be it for this one. All right, in this video part, I want to share with you the system specs and the system resource usage. So let's go ahead and start with the system specs. Open up the app menu here, and we'll go into system settings. We're already in the system tab, and then I'm going to go ahead and select about. So from here, we can see our device name and we can change. We can also see the operating system, which is Zorin OS 18 core. Hardware model is a Lenovo 300E Gen 2. The processor is Intel Celeron N4100, 4 cores. And memory is 8 gigabytes. Disk capacity is 128 gigabyte. I am using an SSD. And let's go ahead and close this here. Let's go ahead and go back to the app menu. And then under Utilities, we're going to open up Disk Usage Analyzer. And from here, we can see with everything installed, we are currently remaining at 113.4 gigabytes available out of our 128 gigabyte drive. So that's all the default applications, the system itself, plus the application I've installed, such as Simple Screen Recorder to, well, do walkthroughs like this. Let's go ahead and close out of that. Then we're going to click back into the app menu, go to System Tools. We're going to scroll down to System Monitor. And from here, we can see the CPU usage across these 1, 2, 3, 4 cores. And I'm going to go ahead and say I saw about 30% maybe down here and about 18% down here. So roughly about 18 to 30% across these cores. Memory is 2.2 gigs out of 8 gigabytes here. It'll show you about 27%. And let's go ahead and close out. And that's going to be it for this one. Okay, in this video part, let's go ahead and do a proper introduction to the desktop environment. So this here is our default desktop background. At the bottom here, we have our taskbar. To the left, we have our applications, and to the right, we have our system tray. So quickly on the left here, we do have our Simple Screen Recorder tool, which I'm using for walkthrough videos such as this, our software center, our file manager, and our default browser, which is Brave, followed by the app menu here. If we select in, we do have the option to search through applications. We have the All Applications button. Up here at the top, we have Accessories, Graphics, Internet, Office, Sound and Video, System and Tools, and Utilities. So applications are broken down categorically. Over here to the right, we do have our User Account Profile. Then we have our directory broken down by Home, Desktop, Documents, Downloads, Music, Pictures, Videos. Then we have quick buttons for Software Center, Settings, and Zorin Appearance, and as well as some quick buttons for Log Out, Lock Screen, and Power Options. So if we select Back Out, move over to the right here, this button here is for our workspaces. So we can toggle between those, view applications that are open. This right here is just the recording icon for my Simple Screen Recorder tool. Then we have our system tray and our date and time. So if we select into system tray, we can select right here in the battery state of charge to open up the power options. Right here, we have our screenshot tool, settings, lock screen, power options. So if you select in, you can power off, restart, suspend, and log out. Then we have our sound settings, mic settings, brightness settings, and below we do have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, power mode, night light, dark theme or light theme, airplane mode, and the auto rotate feature turned on. Again, I'm using a 2-in-1 device, so I do have a keyboard and touch screen plus stylus. We're gonna go ahead and click out of here. And then last but not least, we have our date and time, which when we click, we have access to open up the calendar and add additional clocks, as well as a weather location. I'm gonna click back out, and that's gonna be it for this one. All right, in this video part, let's go ahead and start customizing our setup. And we can start by right-clicking in the background, come down to change background. And then from here, this is gonna open up our settings menu under the appearance tab. And one of the first things we can do is change our background. So we can just select any image here. I'll just go ahead and do this one. It will automatically change for us, as we can see. I'm gonna go, I actually like this one here. And let's go ahead and maximize our window. Then from here, we can select Zorin Appearance. Minimize, all right. And we have Layout, Theme, Effects, Desktop, Windows, Interface, and Fonts. With Layout here, we can select into any one of these options. I do actually like this default option here. However, I'll just select into one of these just to show you. And we can see the taskbar got a little bit thinner. These dropped into tabs. Outside of that, it still looks fairly similar. I'm gonna go back to the first option I had. And of course, if you prefer any one of these other options and you want to test and trial those, you're more than welcome to. Down here at the bottom, you can get more desktop layouts by upgrading to Zorin OS Pro, which is a paid option, but of course you're supporting developers, so that's really cool. In the next tab, we have theme. And in here, we can change our accent color. So we can see here around the selection, and in the tab, we can see the blue. I'll flip that to green. And we should see those change just like that. As well, we can change the theme or style from light to dark, or a combination of both, light during the day, dark at night. So I'll just show you that here real quick. And we'll see everything from the window to the colors, as well as the taskbar will change to a dark theme. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to go ahead and go back to light. And in the next tab here, we have effects. So we can enable or disable animations. That would be on things such as a screen that pops up, goes down. Those little animations there, we can disable or enable. Jelly mode, if we enable that, we can grab a window and we can see that it'll start to wiggle like jelly, which I think is really cool for kiddos. Disable that. Under desktop, we have our background. So right here, it's just showing that the actual background image is on zoom. We have icons enabled, shown here. We can also add default icons such as home and trash. We can change the icon size. Select the drop down here, and we can go into large, back to standard. Under the Windows tab, right here, any new window is going to be opened in the center here. And as well, this is where you're able to enable and disable the advanced tiling. So before we did C, let's go ahead and drop that into a larger window. If we actually grab this to the left or to the right, that's the advanced tiling feature. If we want to disable that, we can do so from here. And next we have window title bars. So we have the title bar buttons, which right now they're shown on the right like this, or we can flip them over to the left like this, but I do prefer right. So I'm going to go ahead and go back. And then under interface, we have the left super key, which opens up our activities overview. So if we do that one time here, it will open the workspaces where you can see all applications. If we double click that, that will open the application menu. And if we single click, that'll bring us back to. Then we also have overlay scroll bars, which is on the side of the windows for us. And we have our taskbar settings shown here, which we'll get to in just a moment. And last item is going to be fonts. So from here, you can actually change the font and the font size. And we're going to go ahead and close out of this. I'm going to come back to settings, and we're going to close out of this one as well. And that's going to be it for this one. Next, we're going to go ahead and customize the taskbar, or at least share how we can customize the taskbar. So we're going to come down, right click, select taskbar settings, and we're just going to run through style, position, and behavior. And under style, we have panel and telehide. So right now, if I grab this window and I go down, it'll actually go right behind the panel, dock, or taskbar, whichever you want to refer to it as. If we'd like that to hide, we can enable, and when we drag that window down, that taskbar will actually hide. So I'm going to go ahead and disable that. Under panel style, we have margin and border radius. For margin, that will actually give us more spacing around the actual taskbar and the window edges. And so right now we're sitting at a 4, so we'll go ahead and go to a 12. And we can see we have a lot more space here at the bottom, as well as on the sides. We're going to go ahead and bring that back down to a 4. And for border radius, that will either round out or square out the edges for us here. So right now we're sitting at a 15. Let's go ahead and jump up to a 25. And we can see that becomes way more rounded on both sides here. So we'll come back to a 15. Next item is going to be position. We're going to go ahead and scroll down. And from here, we can change the position of our actual taskbar. So right now we have it at the bottom. We can always push it over to the right. It will go ahead and adjust that for us there. We can do the left, top, or back to bottom, which I prefer. From here, we can also adjust the panel thickness. So we see it's at a 48. We can just go up, and we see that it did widen a bit. and panel length is from edge to edge, which I'm good with there. I'm going to go ahead and bring that back down to 48. There we go. And down here, we can either make these items or sections visible or invisible. So for instance, we can come down to system menu, which is the system tray here. And if we wanted to remove that, we could deselect and enable. And under behavior, we do have applications area. And from here, we do have by default enabled show favorite applications, show running applications, show notification counter badge, and as well for hover, we can show a window preview. So for instance, like that, as well as show the tooltip. So we'll see the actual name, simple screen recorder right here. And that's going to be it for the taskbar settings. All right, in this video part, I want to share 3 things with you. First, I want to share the default applications that are pre-installed, as well how we can pin applications to the taskbar or add applications to the desktop. So let's go ahead and click into the app menu. And from here, we can of course select all applications if we want to see that full list, or we can go into them categorically here. So under accessories, we have everything from clocks, file manager, text editor, and weather application. Under graphics, we have the image viewer tool and LibreOffice Draw, which is a good publisher tool. Under internet, we have our Brave web browser, Remina, and web apps. Remina is a remote desktop tool. Under Office, we have Calendar, Contacts, Evolution, which is an email client, and LibreOffice, which we get access to, Calc, Draw, Impress, and Writer. Under Sound and Video, we do have Brasaro, which is a DVD burner. Then we have Camera Tool, Rhythmbox, which is an audio playback tool, Simple Screen Recorder, which is the tool I'm using for this walkthrough, a sound recorder tool, and Videos, which is a video playback tool. Under System Tools, we have a few different applications here, or items if you will. We have the main menu, parental controls, power statistics, settings, software, software updater, system monitor, the welcome tour. So if you really want to get familiar, they do kind of give you a brief welcome tour for Zorin OS. We have the upgrade Zorin OS option here and Zorin appearance, which don't forget, we do have quick buttons for Zorin appearance, settings, and software right here. As well in utilities, we have a few different options. And in here, we have advanced network configuration, backups, calculator, disk usage analyzer, document scanner, document viewer, logs, passwords and keys, and terminal. And I also want to show, like I said, how we can pin applications. So we're going to select into this one here. We'll pin LibreOffice Draw, select pin to dash. And so what I did here was just right click and then pin to dash. Let's go ahead and grab another item here and we'll do Brave browser. I'll right click and we can do add to desktop. Click out of this. So we see our Brave browser here. And of course we can rearrange these icons if we wish. So there we go. Maybe we want them in that order or put it over here, whichever. And likewise with our pinned applications down here, we can move those around and rearrange. If we want to remove the pinned app and the taskbar, we can right click, unpin, there we go. And for the application on the desktop, we can right click, we can move to trash, or instead of putting it in the trash, we can come into our app menu, go into internet, right click on the application, and then remove from desktop. That way it doesn't clutter up our trash can. And that's it for this one. Okay, in this last video part here, I just want to share with you how we can access our software center, install a new application, and then just run a test run with a few of our default applications on the desktop. So we're going to go ahead and get this kicked off by opening the software center. And once we're here, we can actually explore applications through the featured section, such as create, work, play, socialize, learn, or develop. Or of course, if we know what we're looking for, we can select that search button, come in here, type in our application name, which is going to be Ocular. And I'm going to go ahead and select this first option here, Ocular. And once we're here, we can get a image overview of the application, a brief description, and sometimes some breakdown information such as download size and permissions. Now up in this drop down here, we can see it comes in 2 different package types, the system package or flat pack. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm just going to go ahead and do Flatpak and select install. And I'll briefly explain the differences between the two. Now, a system package is going to store locally on your device and typically is a little bit lighter on download size and runs a little bit quicker as well. However, a Flatpak will install a little bit larger on file size. It does open or launch a little bit slower, and the reason for the larger size is because it is an isolated package, and therefore all of the dependencies and libraries are downloaded with it to basically run that isolated or sandboxed application. Now, between the two, a Flatpak is going to be regarded as a bit more security minded, if you will, as opposed to a direct installation on your system, such as a system package. Either way, it's a preference thing, whichever you wish. And we can see we're roughly at about 65% here. I'm just gonna let that keep rolling. And this way we can kind of see in real time roughly about how long it takes to install an application from the Software Center. And again, keep in mind, we did the Flatpak, so it is going to be a little bit larger in size than the actual system package. And if you would have done system package, you would have had to type in your password to perform that install. Again, it's installing locally on the device, so it's asking for that permission to do so. And we are at about 87%. And there we go. Our application is installed. So I'm just going to go ahead and close out of this. And to test run some of the default applications, I'm going to go ahead and select into the file manager here. And we're going to go into downloads. And from here, one of the first items, we can go ahead and just start with an image. So I'll double click that. That's going to open in our image viewer tool, which is a default app. We have music.mp3, so I'm going to double click that. That will launch as it shows right here in Rhythmbox, which is our audio playback tool. Then we have a video clip. That opens up in our default videos, which is our video playback tool. Close out of that here. And for our PDF, we can double click. That's going to open in our document viewer tool, which is our default application as well. Or the new tool that we just installed, I can right click, open with, come to Ocular, open. And there we go. Now I can open it in Ocular as it shows here. And we'll go ahead and close out of that. Close this one. And that's going to be it for this video part as well.